Hey there guys, John Campea here, and thank you for visiting my movie vlog. It's Sunday, which means the box office report has come out. The big question going into the weekend was, can Dunkirk hold on to the #1 spot, or will The Dark Tower indeed come in its opening weekend and take the #1 spot away from Dunkirk? And the answer is, The Dark Tower did it, but kind of barely. So let's take a look at and run down the top 5 at the box office this weekend. As I mentioned already, coming in the #1 spot was The Dark Tower. However, who would have expected The Dark Tower, finally a Dark Tower movie with Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba only making $19.5 million, but that's all it was able to muster up on a $60 million budget. It comes in #1. Dunkirk falls down to the #2 spot at $17.6 million, only taking a 33.9% drop from its opening weekend. The Emoji Movie manages 3rd place, making another $12.3 million. #4 is Girls Trip. Look, I talked about Girls Trip a little while ago. Hopefully you saw my review for the movie. This is flat out the best pure comedy, not drama comedy, rom-com, or comic book movie / comedy, but like a pure comedy movie I think we've had since 22 Jump Street. If you haven't seen Girls Trip, please check it out. And then rounding out the top 5 is the new Halle Berry film Kidnap, which makes $10.2 million on its opening weekend. Going back to The Dark Tower for a second, if you guys saw my review, you know, I don't think the movie was a total mess. Like some people out there saying, oh my God, what a train wreck, awful movie. And I don't think it's that bad, but it's also not really as good as it should have been. I actually left the theater, even though I liked the film, I left the movie dissatisfied, and I think at least most fans felt the same way. The fact that it comes in with under $20 million, I mean, that is still surprising, even though it had mixed word of mouth. I thought it could have pulled in at least 30. If you'd asked me a week ago, how much money will The Dark Tower make on opening weekend? I would have thought 30, 35 plus, but it ends up making 19. Still good enough for 1st place, but that's not much. One interesting race to keep an eye on, though, in the box office is a race between 2 marquee comic book films. We've got Wonder Woman and Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, as far as to which film will make the most money domestically, I'm ready to call it. That race is over. Wonder Woman clearly is going to win the domestic box office. It's about to hit $400 million domestically, whereas Spider-Man Homecoming, even though it's only been out a few weeks less than Wonder Woman, is only about to cross $300 million at the box office. I believe Wonder Woman is going to win the domestic box office race. Now, worldwide, that little game is still in question. Now, worldwide, Wonder Woman is about to cross $800 million worldwide, which is bonkers successful for that film. Spider-Man Homecoming is currently sitting at a little over $670 million worldwide, but here's the big asterisk. Spider-Man Homecoming, and Spider-Man is a very popular character in China, the world's 2nd biggest movie market. Spider-Man Homecoming has not opened in China yet. And with Wonder Woman making just under $100 million in China, and Spider-Man being a much more popular character, I think it's pretty safe to say that Spider-Man will minimum probably make around the $150 million, maybe $175 million range at the Chinese box office, which would be enough to push it past Wonder Woman for the worldwide global box office total. So the way I think this is going to shake out, depending on how China works out, I think you're going to see Wonder Woman easily winning the domestic box office. I think we're going to see Spider-Man Homecoming, because of China, eking out Wonder Woman for the worldwide box office. But either way, it's a big win for both of these films. The fact that both of them are getting up close to $1 billion each, it's a big win for both Warner Brothers and Marvel. But of course, the big question here is, what do you make of this weekend's box office reports numbers? Which ones do you think are underperforming? Which ones do you think are overperforming? Are there any surprises there for you? Jump into the comments section and let me know your thoughts below. And if you're one of the people who enjoys my videos, check at the top of the description for the link to my Patreon page and consider becoming one of my supporters for my 70 to 90 videos that I create every single month. And while you're here, make sure you click on the subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you're following me on Facebook and on Twitter, simply @John Campea. That'll do it for me, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me, and until next time, bye-bye.